Hello and happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode 3 of BAM Connections Live. Well, hello everybody. I am Stephanie Massman of BAM Connections, and a little bit about me and what I do is I help people grow their business through attraction marketing. And we're not going to talk so much about me today because we have a really, really special guest. We have my beautiful daughter, Carly Durrer. Carly is going to tell a story that I find extremely touching. She's been through a lot, and we're going to learn a little bit about her and her story. I'm just going to tell you about how it started and let her kind of go from there. She was about 2 years old when we noticed that there was a bump on her head. It was not going away. So we took her to the doctor, and the doctor did a series of tests. And well, in a nutshell, she has what's called Cruzon syndrome, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her story, what she went through, some of the trials and tribulations, and how she's overcome so much. I'm so proud of my daughter. Let me just tell you really quickly. I mean, she just graduated from NAU, Northern Arizona University, with 2 degrees, cum laude, 1 psychology. She's a theater major, and now, somebody's saying hi. I forgot to tell you guys, we want to know who you are that's commenting. So to do that, please go to streamyard.com/Facebook. Then we can see who is commenting. And we would love to take your pictures, we would love to take your comments. Anyway, so Carly, go ahead. Why don't you tell your story?
Hello, nice to meet you all. My name is Carly Durrer. So like she just explained, I was diagnosed with Cruzon syndrome at the age of around 2. So what this means is it's a premature fusion of facial bones. So when you're a baby, your soft spots kind of close too soon and your face goes together sort of. And this can cause all kinds of problems. It could cause your eyes to bulge out, to separate, your nose to stay sunken in, and then your forehead and chin grow, and everything just kind of grows like abnormally. And not only does it produce like these features that you can see physically, but it is also like it can cause other problems such as blindness and breathing problems. And so when we had my first doctor's visit, they told us that I needed to have an emergency surgery because I was actually about to go blind.
Yeah, let me stop you right there. So we found out that she did have some kind of genetic craniofacial something, but we weren't sure exactly what it was. But they said we do need to monitor her. And so I remember we took her, she was about 2 years old, and we took her to Children's Hospital, to the eye doctor there. And my mom was with us, I remember, and the doctor left the room, came back with a few other people and said, we need to do emergency surgery on her. She's her optic pressure is so bad, she is going to be going blind in the next couple of days if we do not do this emergency surgery. So that was the first one. She was 2 years old when that happened. Why don't you explain? You want to talk about what that one was? But the second one.
So a little bit gruesome. My apologies if you don't like to hear about surgery stuff. But basically, the point of this surgery was to cut my head open and release the optic pressure. So thankfully, we did this surgery in time and I didn't go blind. So the way that they had to cut my head was in a zigzag pattern from one ear to the next, kind of across my head like a headband. And now if you look at my scalp, it's a zigzag pattern. So that was my first surgery. Then I had 2 more surgeries, like major ones, as a kid. So my second one was called the mid-face advancement. And for this one, I got screws inserted at either side of my head. And every day these screws had to be turned, and it slowly moved my mid-face forward. That was definitely tough as a kid. I remember it hurting a lot. One side hurt more than the other, but I had a good spirit. I got powdered donuts as rewards for it. So yeah, so that was a success. And then my third major surgery was to take the device out. So those are the ones in my childhood. And then I can explain my jaw surgery if you'd like.
Yeah, let me just, but I mean, I just want the audience to understand, what it was like, just even as parents seeing this, and I might get a little emotional, you guys, try not to, but so that second surgery, that was a really, really major one. She was under for about 8 hours, and we were just such a nervous wreck. I mean, they had to put a metal device in her face, and so through her scalp, she had these screws, and we had to screw them every single day, which brought her face forward. So her eyes were very, very, very swollen, and she had no hair. I mean, she was bald from here back, and she had crisscross going across. And I remember my son at the time, he freaked out. He said, "That's not my sister. That's not my sister." And it was hard. And she went to school. She was in preschool, and I remember when she was wearing the little bandanas, and remember this in the playroom at Children's Hospital. She was just always had such a good demeanor about her. She was scary looking. I mean, her eyes were bulged in her head and everything. And she was like, "I want to go and play in the playroom and play." She's always just had this amazing sense of, spirit. And so, it was tough. It was tough growing up because she went through a lot, and kids were looking at her, and she was being bullied by, a lot of the kids. And so, sorry, go ahead, Carly.
Yeah, we can go back to that bullying topic soon. But since we're still talking about the surgeries, I'll just explain my final one, which I had. This was a jaw surgery. So I had an underbite, and I had to, this was the summer before my senior year of high school. I had to get my upper jaw kind of like cut off and move forward. So I'm very thankful for all this. All these surgeries were done at the Children's Hospital. And I just want to say, I am beyond thankful for that hospital. Not only are the surgeons and nurses and everyone just so good at their jobs, but it made me feel so comfortable as a kid. I liked being there. Like my mom just said, I wanted to play in the playroom and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. And
we got to do a plug for Dr. Mark Urata. I mean, he's an amazing, amazing plastic surgeon. And I will tell the story once. I mean, I remember when we started going to look for different surgeons who was going to do this surgery. There was one, and I'm not even going to tell you what he said. And he was just so horrible and just had such bad bedside manner. And then we came to Children's Hospital, and we met, Dr. Urata and Dr. I can't even think of his name right now. Reinish, yeah. And, I mean, they made me feel comfortable, and they were there for us. And so, Children's Hospital was great. But, I just want to also just, Carly, talk about, some of the things that have happened throughout your life and how you did face those challenges. I can tell you she has spoken several times at different venues to raise money for Children's Hospital and for Eileen's cause and for all these other things. And her story is so powerful. And I know that she's raised a lot of money for different charities with her story. And, look at her now. She's going to be going to England next, on the 14th. She's going to Surrey, to the Guildford School of Acting, right? I mean, she has so much confidence, and she always is, she just wants to make everybody always feel so good. And she just accepts everybody for who they are. Sorry. Again, go ahead, Carly.
I'll take over, give you a little moment. So I can just kind of explain the journey of growing up with this condition. As a kid, like we talked about, I would wear my little bandanas to cover my bald head with all the scars and everything. But I don't necessarily remember too much of that because I was a kid and I was just, living my life and everything. But then as I grew older, I started to develop like a different sense of self where, you know, I could see myself from other people's perspectives. And this itself is this is something that I still struggle with today. But yeah, like when I was in middle school and stuff, kids would make fun of me. I remember just finding out for the first time that my eyes were wide set. I didn't even necessarily notice this myself, but one boy was like, "Your eyes are far apart." And I was like, "Ah ha ha ha." But then I like looked at it and I was like, "Oh, he's right." Like I didn't even realize, and just all these little moments. And not only that, but kids can just be so mean. I was bullied on, I used to have the app Vine, if you know Vine, with videos and stuff, and people would call me all kinds of names, call me ugly, and I wouldn't like take it harshly. I would usually just kind of tell a joke back and be like, "Okay, whatever. I'm not letting it get to me." But obviously that sort of thing still gets to you as much as you don't want it to. Even now, just a few years ago with the rise of TikTok, even some kids are still making fun of me and comparing me to cartoons that I look like and that sort of thing. And I'm like, wow, I guess they're still like that. But I I really don't care. I am confident and I'm happy with how I look. And especially as an actor, I like to be unique and have this uniqueness about me. And something that I'm working on is just focusing on those who love and care about me and just leaving the rest behind. I don't need to focus on the energy, all this negative energy of those who don't care, you know?
You know what I'm thinking about even that one time, like during the pandemic, I remember Carly does Zumba, and she's very athletic and all of that kind of thing. And even during the pandemic, when it was at the very worst, she put together this Zumba routine and had people come on, and she was like, "That's it. I know this is a really, really scary time, people, but let's all get together and let's stay healthy." And she's the type of kid that her friends come to her all the time for advice, because what she has been through, I know that there's a lot of people who have gone through some very, very, very severe things, but you can't let it define you, right? She could have gone down a path of feeling depressed and believing all the people that the naysayers of the world, but she is, she rised above it, and all the surgeries and everything that she has been through. I mean, you would never know right now that anything that what she has gone through. But, for you, Carly, I just love how you're so positive, and in this world when people feel scared and stressed and worried, and they're so about their, that looks are everything and so important, what do you have to say to them?
This is so cliche, but it's really about what's on the inside, my life goal, my mission is just to make a positive impact on the world. And no matter how small the impact, that's just what I want to do. I want to make every day meaningful, create meaningful relationships. And I encourage more of this and more kindness. And yeah, a lot of people are focused on themselves, or especially society is becoming kind of divided these days. And I hope to see more kindness in the world.
Absolutely. And Eric, yes, thank you for saying how amazing she is, because she truly is. And I couldn't be more proud. And thank you for making that comment. I really appreciate that, Eric. There was something else I was gonna ask. Does anybody who's watching this right now, does anybody have any comments or any questions for Carly? Because this would be a good time to ask. If not, you can always ask through the playbacks, and she'll get back to you. Right now, well, let's see, what time is it right now? So we have about 5 more minutes left, Carly. What else do you want to tell anybody else about I don't know, anything. We're both a little nervous still.
There's so much. I have a little like list of like topic points that I want to talk about, but I don't know which one is the most.
Just talk about whichever one that you want to talk about. You know, I mean, we didn't prepare this one because we wanted this one to be, you know, really organic. You know, so talk about any of them from the bullet list that you want to talk about, Carly.
I guess I could. Oh, we kind of touched on this, but something that I am still struggling with is what's called in psychology the looking glass self, and that's how you see yourself, like trying to see yourself based on how other people see you. This is something that I've gotten better at it, but also I still struggle with it. I get caught in the back of my mind with like feeling like the weird kid, or like, what if I don't look good, and that sort of thing. If you want, I could read a little excerpt from a poem I wrote about this if you're interested.
Don't say if, do it.
Okay, I wrote this poem for a class in college. So it starts, I'm going to start at the middle with the literal comments that people have made before, and how it's kind of like altered my perspective of myself. Okay, so you look like a frog, bug eyes, hobbit. Why are people so mean? You're so ugly. I always knew something was off. It's hard to sum up a creature like you in one word. Do I really look this way, or are people just trying to be mean for fun? Sometimes I feel beautiful, but the back of my mind reminds me of the hurtful moments. I always make jokes to prove my strength, but am I just hiding behind my own insecurities? Why do I fear judgment? Why do I worry about others' perspectives? Why am I so afraid to take a shot in fear that I will be rejected again? Sometimes you don't see a difference until someone else points it out, but other times you have to learn to embrace and appreciate your uniqueness. So, yeah, I know that was like a lot at once, but yeah, so that's just kind of what it feels like sometimes. But I really try to focus on the end part of that poem. It's okay to be different. It's okay to embrace that and inspire others to feel different too, but to appreciate it within themselves. And like I said, make all these impacts on the world and positive relationships and all that sort of thing.
So I think you guys can see why I wanted to bring my daughter on. I mean, I just wanted to let you know, this is what we're living in now is a little bit of a scary world, and people are mean, and people can, you know, really be judgy and say horrible things, but you can't let that define you, because you know who you are. And I can tell you firsthand what an amazing person Carly is. And my whole thing is, don't judge people, you know, because you just don't know their story. And that's really just the main lesson I wanted to take away, and just to bring my beautiful daughter on. She's leaving on the 14th. She's going to be going to, I know I told you, she's going to England, and she's going to be pursuing her acting. And I like, this is the last one. I got to get her on the show before she leaves. And I want to thank Cindy Lee always for doing stuff in the background. She's been taking care of everything that's going on in the back, and she's been dealing with all the comments on here. So thank you, Cindy. She won't get on, but today. But with that, so tomorrow is Wednesday. So every Wednesday on BAM Connections, we do our little networking group. And so tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, we'd love for you to come to our networking group. We do all kinds of networking and breakout rooms. We have special guest speakers. We have all kinds of fun things going on tomorrow. So to get onto the networking group, just go to www.bamzoomroom.com. Please be prepared to stay for the full hour with your camera on, and it's a lot of fun. We would love to meet you and introduce you to other people in our network. It's every Wednesday at 5. And I guess that's it, Carly. I want to thank you profusely for taking time to share your story with everybody. And if anybody has any questions for Carly outside of this, you can message her. But please go and subscribe to her YouTube channel, which is on the comment somewhere, right?
You follow me on Instagram. You'll see it. And then also, if you're interested in comedy, I would love for you to subscribe to my sketch writing group's a YouTube page. It's sponsored by and then a colon. So we do lots of sketches. It's lots of fun.
Yeah, she's fun. It's a great group of people. All right, so we'll go ahead and get the outro video going, and we want to thank you for your time. Everybody has a beautiful Tuesday.
Thank you.